Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of Nurse Debbie. Today is going to be about nursing. I know I don't talk a lot about nursing, but today I am going to. I have been a staff nurse as well as a travel nurse, and I am going to tell you the difference and what I think is better. I'm also going to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly about both. All right, here we go. We are going to start off with staff nursing because that is what I know the best, because that is what I have been for the last 19 months, is a staff nurse. And many times in my life, I have been a staff nurse. One of the cool things about being a staff nurse is you are on a team. You work on a specific floor, a specific area. Me, I was renal tele, okay? You've got ER, you've got ICU, you've got med surge, you have NICU, you have mom baby, all different areas of the hospital that have their staff. My staff was about 25 nurses that worked probably 8 or 9 a night, 7 days a week. You were required to work 3 12-hour shifts a week, 36 hours or 72 for 2 weeks. You were paid twice every 2 weeks as a staff nurse. Some of the pros about it, you work with the same people all the time. You can sort of make your schedule, but you as a staff nurse are required to work every other weekend or every third weekend. The last hospital that I've been at, it's every third weekend. So sometimes they can give you a Friday just to be tacky, or whatever they want to do. But normally that is what you work. You can request off. You can request off, like for me, I would request off on Tuesdays because Brian was off on Tuesday, and they usually would give me that. One thing about a staff nurse, you earn PTO. Every pay period, earned 6.2 hours of PTO. So basically every month that I work was 1 day off for PTO if I wanted it. So you do earn PTO. What other positives? They provide you with uniforms. You have your own uniforms. They give you health insurance, dental, vision, and a 401k matching. Usually staff positions do that as well as a life insurance policy on you. That is pretty much it. You don't usually get floated if your floor is busy. If you have a slower floor, you might get floated to a different unit. Also, there are certain things called A days that if you put yourself down for one of those, they can, if you're on that list and they're over, they will give you off and you do not get paid. Your sick days, if you call in sick, they will pull from your PTO. In the area of California, you were allowed 5 sick days, so 5 basically PTO days that they can take. It doesn't mean you get 5 extra days. They will just take from your PTO. Usually staff salaries or per hour pay is based on experience. For me, I've been a nurse 24 years. I made more than anyone on my floor because I had more experience than anyone on my floor. Also, the problem is I was older by probably 20 or 30 years, anyone on my floor. That can be a pro or a con. In some ways you go, oh wow, they have more experience. Also, it's, oh, they make more money. They've been a nurse longer. They think they know more. I did experience a lot of that. So you just never know with staff nursing. Staff nursing can be a good thing depending on who you work with and who your boss is, okay? I'm just gonna leave it at that, but that can make a huge difference in how much you enjoy your job. If something happens on the floor and you get in trouble as a staff nurse, there is usually a written warning, different things you get until, final warning, or in California, it is a no-fault state. You can be fired for any reason in California, okay? So that's just from what I know of staff nursing. I'm mainly going on California. In Texas, it was a lot like that. In California, as a staff nurse, renal tele can only have 4 patients. If you are working with a telemetry patient, you can only have 4. If you are doing med surg with no tele, you can have 5. In Texas, you can have 6 no matter what your patients are. It's a totally different situation, and that goes for pretty much the whole rest of the United States. 6 patients is pretty much the norm for one nurse. In staff nursing, you usually have CNAs that can help you with, for instance, the hospital I was at before this one, the CNAs were able to do AccuChecks, which is checking blood sugars. They did vital signs, and a lot of times they would unhook IVs when a patient would go to the bathroom and then just hook them back up. The hospital I'm at, they can't do AccuChecks. They can't touch IVs. Just learn that. And they cannot, what was the other thing? They can take vital signs. Vital signs and clean patients, stuff like that. CNA job. So that pretty much sums up the staff nursing. One more thing, modules and staff meetings. You are required to go to staff meetings. You are paid for them. And then modules can be up to 20, 30 hours on the computer that you have to do yearly. I think that is about it for staff. Let's move to travel. Travel nursing. I was a travel nurse for about 4 or 5 years as a travel nurse. I loved being a travel nurse. I traveled to Louisiana, I traveled to Arizona, and I traveled to California, where I ended up staying because of some man named Brian, who is now my husband. So, as a travel nurse, you usually make more money. And mainly the reason you make more money is because of your stipend. Now, a stipend is housing and food and all put together, and it is a set amount, okay, per week. Usually your hourly wage is way less because they're giving you such a big stipend. Now, I will tell you, as a travel nurse, most of the time when I was traveling, I made about $3,000 every 2 weeks. No, I think it was more like $3,500 every 2 weeks. 60% of that, pretty much, actually it was about 70%, was tax-free because it was that stipend. That stipend is huge and you do not pay taxes on it. That is a huge tax break being a travel nurse, because what they're assuming is that you have a house somewhere else that you're paying all that stuff on. Okay, so that's a big thing. Usually the travel contracts are about 6 to 13 weeks. I did extend in Torrance. I was there for 18 months in Torrance. So I extended a lot of contracts, a whole lot of contracts. I was almost like staff there, but I was a travel nurse the entire time. It gives you a chance to explore the USA. Anywhere you want to go, usually, there is somewhere you can be a travel nurse at. I still get emails daily to travel. New York, Washington State, Florida, Texas, the Midwest, the Carolinas. Not many in California. And the reason is California pays their nurses more, and there are few opportunities for travel nurses because there's so much staff in California. So travel nursing, not so big in California. There is a lot of openings up in the San Francisco area because it's much tougher, but it does pay really well. You can set your own schedule. When I was at Torrance, I worked Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That was my set schedule. My charge nurse that I had, I loved her to death. I still talk to her weekly. She worked those days and I wanted to get to work with her. So I worked Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That meant I was off the rest of the week and Friday, Saturday nights. It was a great gig. I got that schedule pretty much the whole time I was there and I loved it. You were not required to work a weekend as a travel nurse. You could work Monday through Friday or you could work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, never touch the weekend if you wanted to as a travel nurse. So that was really good. You do specify, as a travel nurse, I pretty much went med-surg. I worked med-surg all the places I went, except in Tucson, I worked women's care. That's where they put me. I loved it. I just took care of women. So that was kind of cool. I was there for 6 months. I was 9 months in Louisiana, 6 months in Tucson, Arizona, and 18 months in Torrance. I will tell you the cons of a travel nurse. You're treated a little different. You're not staff. So they kind of look at you as you're kind of an outsider. Now, I will say Torrance was not like that. Torrance treated me as if I was staff, and the staff was wonderful to me there. I loved working there. You are canceled first. If they're going to cancel somebody, they're going to cancel a travel nurse. And they can only cancel you, I believe, once a month, but usually they will cancel the travel nurses first. What else? I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I had a really good recruiter. I worked with Aya Healthcare. They are a great travel nursing company. They have great agents. My agent was amazing. He still messages me, just checking on me, making sure I'm okay, asking me, do you want to come back to traveling? You never know. If I could do local travel, it might be worth it. Might be worth, as long as you are 60 miles away, you can travel. So I could travel somewhere, make really good money because I live here and do really well. So that's something I may consider. I don't know. It's hard in California. Remember I told you it's hard to get a travel gig in California. My preference is travel nursing. It really is. At my age, travel nursing just worked out so much better for me. My staff job was very far away, so I was traveling a lot, getting a lot of mileage on my car that I wasn't paid for, hours that I was on the road that I was not paid for. I wasted a lot. I've wasted a lot of time driving. So travel nursing was not like that. I always lived close to where I worked. I think the most I had to drive was like 15 minutes. So I love travel nursing. You as a nurse, if any nurses are watching, you really need at least 1 year experience under your belt before you go on to travel nursing. So you're going to need to work probably as a staff nurse for at least a year or two before you go into travel nursing. They like to see that you really know what you're doing before you go into travel nursing. I never had any problems with travel nursing. I loved every minute of it. I don't know. I would choose travel nursing for sure. I did say the good, bad, and the ugly. I will tell you the ugly real quick. With staff nursing, you have to deal with a lot of administrative things that aren't fun to deal with. Those staff meetings, skills checks. Make sure you know how to do your skills. When you're my age and you've done them for 24 years, it's kind of like, again, how many times can you put somebody in restraints to show you can put them in restraints? How many times do you have to put them on a lift to show you know how to do that? That stuff is kind of repetitive. You don't do that in travel nursing. You don't have to do that. Usually have 1-day orientation at a hospital to make sure you know their charting system, because charting systems are different at a lot of different hospitals. But then the crazy thing is, with regular hospital, you got to do like a week or 2 of orientation. So it's a lot. And especially if you've been a nurse as long as I have, it's a lot of repetitive stuff that you already know. When you're a staff nurse, there's a lot of jostling for position, like who's going to get to be charge nurse. And I don't care about being a charge nurse. I've been there, done that. I don't want to do that. I just want to do my job and go home. Take care of my patients the best I can and go home. As a travel nurse, that's what you can do. They don't ask you to be charged. They just let you take care of your patients. Staff, it's different. You know, at this time in my life, you know, I'm getting older. Bedside nursing is getting very tough. 12 hours a night on my body is a lot different than it is on a 20 or 30-year-old. I don't know where my career is going at this point right now. I don't know if I'm going to stay in a certain area of nursing or shift to a different. I don't know yet. But you know what? The world is out there and I can do anything I want. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it explained a little bit between travel and staff nursing. I'll try to do a little more nursing stuff for you if I can. Tell me if you like this. If you do, I'll do more. But I do a lot on this channel. Try on hauls, take you shopping, take you out exploring, weight loss help. I do all kinds of stuff on this Nurse Debbie channel. So if you found it by accident, subscribe if you can. And see what's next. But thank you for watching. I really do hope you enjoy this style of video. And I'll be live this week. I go live once a week just to talk about my life. And I've got some juicy stuff coming up. So thanks for watching. Please hit that like button if you can. And we'll see you on the next Nurse Debbie. Thanks for watching.